Today we're going to talk about how long your sessions should be if you're trying to jump higher. Jump sessions are commonly used in vertical jump programs.
Okay, can you make that a little bit more engaging? Sit up, maybe look at the camera, slide in.
No, this is
Bro, I
fine.
feel like I'm listening to a documentary.
This is fine.
Bro, you literally told me today that you need to
As I was saying, vertical jump programs commonly use jump sessions as the most specific exercise for jumping. I am specifically talking about maximum intent, max approach vertical jumps. We're not doing the standing vertical jumps. We like to run up and jump as high as you can. In the Duncan world, these sessions can last upwards 3-4 hours, and it is almost an orgy of just everybody's really excited, lack of self-control, just letting themselves blow all over the place.
Can you speak for yourself, or are you speaking for everyone else?
I'm speaking for most of the jump community. It's literally, that's what a dunk session is. It's a freaking vertical jump orgy that lasts for a long time.
It feels like that way for you, but in Austin, but that's not how it feels for me. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong.
You're an outlier.
All right, fair enough. I'll give you that. I am an outlier. I'm old. I'm an old man. So go on with your soliloquy.
Today we're going to cover, is there a benefit to dunking for that long? I think I actually have a ton of anecdotal examples of both extremes of short and long sessions in the dunking world. And I am curious to hear your thoughts, you, John. I'll give my thoughts as well on, is there a benefit to it? Like purely from a training effect standpoint, is there an optimal number of reps that you should be going for?
What's interesting is I used to think so. Now I've changed my lens. I used to think like, oh, we definitely only do high quality, cut it as soon as it starts going down. Don't do any more than that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think the longer that I've kind of been in the space and the more athletes that I've coached, I've changed my lens on it. And I do think there's a lot of value to having sessions where your legs feel like they're going to fall off. I think that it's really, really specific. We'll call it, it's a special strength exercise, as Bondarchuk would call it. It is a very specific stimulus on your legs. I mean, your quads get loaded up a lot when you jump. There's no doubt about that. Your hips, your calves, your tendons. I mean, it is a very, very intense muscular activity with very, very high tension, massive stress shortening cycles. Like it's brutal. It's brutal on your body, especially if you're strong enough to have like a spring-like collision with the ground during a takeoff. So let's look into the why it is maybe you would want to have a shorter session. And I kind of alluded to this, but it's that quality is mega important, and type 2 fibers are recruited when your intent is really high. And as your intent goes down and you fatigue, you could potentially have less rate coding. Maybe your motor recruitment goes down, and then your rate of force development goes down, and then you might start building compensatory actions, and then your technique gets worse, and then you end up going the other direction as a whole. Now, the upside to having those sessions is coordination. And even though you're initially maybe in this singular borderline, I would even call it like single response, almost like a machine unilateral action, where it's just like not unilateral, single, what's like multi-joint versus single joint? I guess like almost like a single joint action where it's, oh, I'm just going to push up as hard as I can. It's not this fluid, rhythmic, I would call it borderline harmonic orchestra of muscles turning on and off. I think that's the benefit of jumping a lot, is that you start to innately build that, and that's not something you can control. An unintended consequence, or I guess intended consequence of jumping a lot, is you start to figure out what muscles need to turn on when. Co-contraction gets better. You start contracting muscles at the right times, and then it turns into this beautiful symphony of muscles turning on and off with very, very high forces, which results in really, really high jumps. So yeah, I think that that's the benefit to really long sessions. And the downside to really long sessions is that your tendons are at a mega high risk. So when you don't jump very high, that's fine, because again, you're more or less just hammering home the practice of dunking, like the skill of dunking and getting better at it, almost like a kid throwing a baseball with his dad outside every day, or just like, jumping on a trampoline every day, learn how to do flips. You can do that every day. You're probably not going to suffer from it. But as you get better and you generate more force, you start throwing 90 miles an hour, you can't do that anymore. So I would say that from a purely training perspective, you're mostly dealing with a coordination. I used to think it was more just like type 2 fibers and stuff. But as I've developed as a coach and seen athletes with that every metric indicates their type 2 fibers are insane, suck at jumping, I'm like, oh, this is a skill. Like, this is certainly a skill. So yeah, that's my lens. I want to hear yours.
I think that you're correct. Yes. No, I'm just playing.
Yes. All right.
I want to draw a graph, but this graph would have training age on, let's see, it could be on the X or Y axis. Let's put it on the X axis. Then there would be how long should your session be? So session length on the Y axis. And there would be one line that's downwards from
Hold
the
on.
top.
I actually went ahead and I just typed in paint and I was able to find this here. So go ahead, describe your graph again.
All right. Draw a graph like the Y axis and the X axis. And then I want you to put we could do vertical jump reps over the course of your life. We could do vertical jump training age. I'm talking specifically like jumping, like max
X-axis, X or Y-axis?
on the X axis.
Oh,
jumps. You can just put jumps.
that's exactly what I was going to do. This is pretty good for using a mouse.
This is good. Jumps. And then on the Y axis, I want you to put session length.
This is going to take me a second because
You're good.
I'm using
I'll beatbox for
mouse.
the audio listeners.
I think this is pretty good though. Like, if you guys are watching this, you should tell me that my drawing with a mouse is pretty decent. I almost even got the height of it right.
Now I want you to put.
Oh, wait. I gotta fix this. All right.
There we go. Now a downward slope starting from the top of the Y axis.
Isaiah's a big graph guy.
I am a big
I
graph.
don't know if you guys knew that, but
I love graphs. There we go. That's the podcast.
That's
See you
it.
later,
There
guys.
you go, folks.
Sign up at
There you go.
You want to jump higher?
There you
Okay,
go.
but to explain why I feel this way, the less you've jumped over the course of your life, the less coordination you're going to have on that task. And a huge aspect to force production is technique. Technique is hugely important. You can have the biggest force output monster of all time, but he's not going to be able to apply the same amount of force in an approach 2-foot vertical jump as somebody who's not as much of a force output monster that put in 1,000,000 reps over the course of their life.
So you would say like on this graph, you're like, you're this guy over here.
Yes.
Like, this is Isaiah. Right
And
here.
I think, yeah, exactly. And I think from a purely training perspective, assuming you now have perfect jump technique, I think there is an optimal amount of reps, and it is when your quality starts dropping. I don't know how much you should let the quality drop. Like, should it be like, like a 5% decrease in your vertical, a 10% decrease in your vertical? I was having a conversation with Chase yesterday, actually, like a training conversation. He's a big proponent of velocity-based training, and he was saying that he would do. It was like the highest he had jumped in his life. He was playing lots of basketball. Basically, decided to stop dunking and just get really freaking strong in the weight room. And he was doing high volume squats. But what was interesting is he was doing velocity-based high volume training, which would freaking trash me neurally. But he would do sets of 20 on squat, and it would be velocity based. And then he would, as soon as like they dropped below 0.6 meters per second, I believe, and he had like 225 on the bar. He was doing like deep squats. That's when he would cut the set. And I think I'm not saying that's a whole nother podcast topic, a whole
Yeah,
nother,
VBT.
yeah, a
Your
whole
point
nother
is that the
argument.
higher the output you have, the quicker you're going to fall off.
I think with power work, or I don't like to use that term. I think with jumping, there is a point where you lose the training effect that you're going for. If you're like if I'm having a jump session where I'm like jumping 40 and I'm like suffering through the approach, I don't think I'm getting better by doing that.
Right. Like, see, what's interesting is that some people would, like, if they jump until their quad's about to fall off, they're like, oh, yeah, that's the training stimulus. I ripped all the
I
fibers
think
apart.
those are the people at the top of this graph, though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But then you look at guys like Dylan McCarthy.
I think he is a genetic freak who has the potential to jump 55.
He's over here. He's over here.
His graph looks like, yeah, like do another vertical line.
No. I think this is like what should happen. This is all like a representation of data points, right? Like you could have
Yeah.
like data points here, you could have data points here, but there are outliers on this graph, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
might have a guy that's here or a guy that's here, but like for the
Do
most part,
look,
if you
look.
look at a
I
bunch of
want you to put
people,
these numbers down, and they're gonna make sense when I explain this.
hold on,
Below, like
I'm
down low, down low,
yeah,
below on the jumps amount,
yeah.
I want you to put 24-inch vertical on the very left, like at 0.
So I'm creating more of these data points here so that everyone can see my beautiful graph.
I'm gonna
There we go.
explain
All right,
me
so
and
what do you
Dylan
want to do?
McCarthy.
Like down,
I'm gonna
oh, this
explain
is
me
the
and Dylan
vertical height?
McCarthy. I want
Like
you
this
to
is,
put no, like down low, like by jumps amount
yep,
at 0 where the graph is, like at
yep.
0. Yeah. Put 24 inches or the number 24. And then at the very end of the graph, put 51 or 52. Let's use 52.
No.
So that's me. Now I want you to put, I'm going to exaggerate the hell out of it, but put 49 on the left side.
Like over here?
Yeah.
What? Right
No, no,
next
no,
to
no, below, like down low, like under
oh,
those
over here?
numbers, maybe in a different color.
Like over here?
No, on the very left, below the 24.
Okay.
Put 49. And then do like 54 below the 52 or 55. No, below the 52.
And you want me to do a new line?
No, this is the 49 and 54 is Dylan. The 24 to 52 is me.
He's over here. This is Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think
So this
someone
is
like
Dylan.
him,
This
I
is
think he's
Dylan
a
right
genetic
here.
outlier who has a higher starting point naturally, but he'll still benefit from really long sessions, especially if you're trying to be a pro dunker, because we didn't even get into like the dunk technique aspect of things, the benefits there. You can't really get great dunk technique by not jumping a lot. And I think that's the issue with guys like, for example, like Darius Clark, is he jumps arguably higher than me. I think he could potentially test higher than me. But his dunk technique isn't very good. So he might be, further along his continuum. He might be similar to me in the continuum. But someone like him, I would say, yo, go and have a dunk session for 3 hours. You're trying to be a pro dunker.
Yeah,
Go.
right. Like the best way to get better at dunking is dunking.
Yep. So I think that's the second benefit to long sessions. But if we're talking strictly like minimize risk of injury and improve your vertical jump, I think follow this graph.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think age too is maybe another one, but that's related to the jumps amount. Because like
You
if
should
you're
put
older,
in the
you
colors
probably
you
have.
used. I want to like screenshot this and save this. But in the colors, put like Dylan, and then in the black, put Isaiah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh wait, you put Dylan McCarthy up there.
Yeah, I did. I put him in the red.
Oh yeah.
And then this is
Okay,
you.
that works.
Yeah. This graph that could probably be a rate. I don't know where my tools are. I mean, I literally just like grabbed this and was just like, all right, yep, looks good to me.
Can we talk about Dylan?
What's that?
Are we able to talk about Dylan?
I mean, I don't see why not. What regard?
I feel like it'd be interesting to update people on it, or we could wait to get.
I mean, it's fine. So basically, Dylan reached out to, I think,
Or this could be a separate podcast because I think it would be
yeah,
interesting to talk about.
Yeah. We'll make this a different podcast because we have some interesting information to share about this, and I think that, I think it would be good for. Yeah. We'll wait. That's fine.
Yeah. We'll do this Monday. This will be the Monday podcast.
Yeah. I hope you guys like my graph. I think it's really good.
It is a very good graph. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah. But hopefully that was productive for you guys. If you're just listening, hopefully Isaiah did a good job of describing it. But we will see you guys on Monday. Wish Isaiah the best of luck. And again, like I said, pray for him that he does not implode himself. Donovan said do push-offs. That's what Donovan said.
Wait, when did he
wanted me to tell you that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, oh, dude, just tell him to do push-offs. Say your ego's not that big. You can do push-offs. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. You know what the real meta is? I don't know if you remember this.
The real meta.
To not get hurt. How to get through a dunk show. Or like when my TFL hurts, how to still dunk and not get hurt. I don't know.
I think it's like the slowest warm-up ever is one.
That is one.
Doing right left.
That's a second one, but I'm still left right jumping.
Jumping for distance, not height.
Oh, I actually forgot about that one. That's a good one too.
I'm giving you better ones than you thought. Not taking caffeine?
No, but that's also a smart idea. I need to write these down. I like legit about it.
Don't worry, dude. It's on the podcast. It is recorded.
Don't take caffeine. I'm going to just say it. Spin dunks.
Don't do spin dunks?
No, do spin dunks. Reverses, so jumps to avoid, jump max effort on a reverse. Completely avoid that.
Off lob. Don't jump off lob. That's another one.
Yeah, don't do lob, but yeah, distance dunks at low. It's like low effort, distance, and spins. That's like how I'll get through it.
G code.
Yeah. And what's cool about those, all three, is they look cool.
Yep. And that's all that matters. You're an entertainer. Don't forget.
I'm here to entertain the people.
I am here to entertain the
That's how I feel when I do dunk shows, guys. That's why I don't like them.
Oh, God. That was terrible. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in getting coaching and you don't know where you fall in this graph, go to THPStrength.com. Isaiah can't hold it together.
All right. End the podcast.